These interviews set up the story. In 1982, 20 years ago, a huge alien spaceship landed above Johannesburg, South. People were shocked because it was the first time an alien species had ever come to Earth. But while the humans waited for aliens to come out, the ship hovered over the city for 3 months with no sign of life. At some point, people took the lead and cut into the ship to see what was inside. They were surprised when they found a large group of sick and hungry aliens. More than 1 million aliens were given permission to leave their ships and live on Earth. For their safety, the South African government moved them to a camp on land. They lived in a government camp in Johannesburg that was mostly made up of rusty 1- or 2-room shacks. But as time went on, the camp became a slum because it was too crowded and the military took over. The name of the place now is District 9. It's been 20 years since the ship arrived, and now there are 1.8 million more aliens than there were before. They can't go back to their world because a command module fell into the surface of the Earth during the crash and was never found. So, the huge alien spaceship is still above the city, but it is stuck in the slum and can't move. The aliens have been living their own way for 20 years. They began to look for food in the nearest pile of trash. The aliens didn't feel like they owned anything, so they burned cars and other things that belonged to people. On top of that, the slum was full of weapons because a Nigerian black market sold aliens human weapons for a high price. Between the aliens and a Nigerian gang of criminals run by an obese, psychopathic man called Sanjo, a huge black market is set up. Sanjo's gang sold to them canned cat food, which the aliens happened to like. Also, prostitution was a part of the interspecies. The aliens know how to speak and understand English, so they can talk to people well. But they don't have any leading skills or responsibilities. People think that a plague might have killed off all of the leaders. Soon, the Nigerians will have had enough of the aliens. After 20 years, they put up signs in the park and shops telling people they can't use a bad word. People use the word prawn to talk about the sea creature that eats things on the bottom. People start to fight and riot to get rid of the crabs in Johannesburg. People in the area start to say that the government is spending too much money on this dirty animal. People say that the aliens are stupid lawbreakers who steal resources from people. After the fight between the aliens and the locals, the people of Johannesburg no longer have any patience for the aliens. The government hires United, a private company that makes weapons and doesn't care much about aliens. The aliens also have their own weapons, which are made in a way that makes them impossible for humans to use. The MU looks into this kind of alien weapons. The mission of the MU is to move the aliens from District 9 to a new camp outside of the city. Wikus van der Merwe and MU field agent is put in charge of Mission Wikus. He and a group of troops are sent to District 9 to get the prawn, his helper, and a soldier to sign an agreement to leave. In District 9, Wikus goes from house to house. They also shoot and kill some of the aliens who don't want to work with them. Then they find a house full of alien eggs and burn it down. Christopher Johnson, his young son CJ, and Christopher's friend look for alien fuel in a garbage dump. Christopher has been trying to make a drink from scratch for the past 20 years. But just then, Wikus and his group showed up at his door. Christopher's friend goes to see Wikus while Christopher hides the liquid in the house and runs out the back door. Wikus and his team go into the house to look for guns and find the liquid there. As Wikus looks at it, he sprays it on his face by chance. After he calms down, he puts the liquid in a bag so it can be sent to the lab. Later, Christopher's friend starts to attack Wikus, so the soldiers shoot and kill his team. During the fight, Wiki's arm gets hurt, so his helper binds it. Soon, he starts to feel sick and uncomfortable. He throws up while looking at Christopher's house. His team takes him to a nearby restaurant, where a black fluid comes out of his nose. They start to worry about him and bring him back to where Mu is based. Wikus can't stop breathing and feels sick to their stomach. His fingernails start to fall off because they are rotting. Back in District 9, Christopher and his son looked for the beverage they had stashed earlier that day with all their might. Wikus gets a treat when he gets home. Just before he starts to cut the cake, he throws up black stuff all over it. The people who came are awful. He goes to the doctor with his wife. When he takes off the bandage on his arm, he is shocked to see that it has turned into an alien claw. Wikus starts to freak out and screams, while the doctor tries to calm him down. Then, the doctor calls security and has Wise held down. They put him in a body bag and bring him to the MU lab. They find out that the liquid that was splashed on his face is making him change into an alien. The drink is also in his pocket. Several tests are done on him by the doctors. It turns out that Wisks is the only person who can use the alien weapon. Even though he begs them to leave, they make him shoot an innocent crab. Scientists find that his DNA is in balance with the alien DNA, which is slowly turning him into a prawn. With Wikus's cruel father-in-law's approval, they plan to take biological parts from his body at this crucial time and sell them to groups and countries that are interested in biotechnology. But just before they do the processes on him, he manages to get away and beat his attackers. He then runs away from the MNU offices and ends up at his home, but MNU spies are already there looking for him. He goes to a restaurant nearby and sees himself on the wall. People say that he had long-term sexual relations with a crab and turned into one of them. This is not true. The news also says that his disease is infectious and tells people to stay 20 feet away. If they find him with nowhere to go, they will kill him. He goes to District 9 to hide. Wickes ends up in Christopher's shed, where he finds that Christopher has hidden the spaceship's missing command module. A liquid he made was the fuel they needed to turn on the ship again and get back to their planet. Wickes can turn back to the same fuel. So, they get ready to go to the Mu headquarters to bring back the liquid. Wickes goes to the gang boss Ob Sanjo to buy some guns for their quest. But Ob Sanjo wants to eat Wickes' alien arm, so he wants to cut it off. According to the Muddy idea, Nigerians think that eating alien body parts will cure illnesses. Before they could cut off his arms, Wickes grabbed a strange weapon, which attacked. It helps him gather up all the other tools and bugs. Christopher and Wickes then went from there to attack the Mu base. With the guns, they were able to destroy most of the lab in just a few minutes. The Colonel comes with his team. He is in charge of Mu security and has been told to catch Wickes. Wickes finally finds the liquid, but right at that moment, Christopher sees his fellow stranger in the lab. He had been used in experiments by people. When the guards walk into the building, they start shooting. The two broke through the walls and got away, but the police helicopter followed their car to District 9. Christopher and Wickes are now in Christopher's shed. Christopher tells Wickes that he has to save his people first before he can change him. This makes Wickes angry, so he hits Christopher over the head with a log and knocks him out. Then he turns the ship on himself. Wickes gets in it and takes control of the ship while everyone watches. But when the craft is in the air, a MU rocket knocks it out. The troops catch Wickes while Christopher's son CJ hides inside the ship. Just then, Fat Sanjo and his man attack the soldiers after they had fought hard with each other. Sanjo, who is fat, gets Wickes. Sanjo is about to cut off Wickes' arm and eat it, but he stops when CJ turns on an automatic gun and shoots at them as Wickes runs away. The mothership, which had been sleeping for a long time, starts up. Wickes then goes to the huge robot suit of armor and starts to control it. At first, he wants to use it to get away, but then he comes back to save Christopher. The two of them start running toward the spaceship, but halfway there, the battle suit is shot and stops working. Christopher has to go save Wickes' son and then the rest of the prawn. Christopher tells Wickes that he'll come back in 3 years and make him normal again. Wickes keeps the soldiers from focusing on Christopher while he takes his son and wakes up the mother. It goes up into the sky and then connects to the spaceship below. The Colonel arrests a Wicked who is hurt and is about to kill him, but Wickes' friends stand up for him. They circle the Colonel and rip off his head. The huge spaceship finally takes off with Christopher and his son inside. People all over the world watch in amazement and wonder if Christopher will return for the rescue mission to save all of his kind. Wickes has gone away after what happened, and no one knows where he is. The plan to move Prawn was a success. They now live in District 10, which is 200 kilometers from Johannesburg, and the number of people living there has grown to 2.5 million. Then we see video of Wickes' wife holding a metal flower, which she says she found at her front door. She thinks Wickes put it there, and she still hopes he's still alive. At the end of the movie, we see Wickes in a dump, where he is making a metal rose for himself.